Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Portuguese ebook before it's gone.
Oi, meu nome é Paloma. Hi everybody, I'm Paloma. Welcome to PortuguesePod101.com's Português em 3 minutos, the fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Portuguese. In the last lesson, we learned the phrase Com licença, você fala inglês? Excuse me, do you speak English? We mentioned the phrase com licença, which means excuse me in Portuguese. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to use com licença and other words when apologizing in Portuguese. We should use com licença to get someone's attention, such as when you want to pass by them. For example, com licença, eu posso passar? Excuse me, may I pass by you? We can also use it when asking a question. Com licença, você sabe onde fica a praia de Copacabana? Excuse me, do you know where Copacabana Beach is? Another similar phrase is desculpa. This word literally means without guilt, but we use it similarly to the English I'm sorry. Desculpa. Desculpa can be used for either excuse me or I'm sorry. But what if you really want to apologize for something? There is a different phrase you might want to use. Você me desculpa? Would you forgive me? Você me desculpa. First, we have você. That means you, followed by me, which means me, and the verb desculpar referring to você, which is desculpa or forgive. One last way to apologize is using perdão, the same as pardon in English, but this is not used as much as desculpa in Brazil. Perdão. And what to answer when someone says desculpa? There are many ways to answer. You can say tudo bem. Everything's fine. Tudo bem. Or não tem problema. No problem. Não tem problema. Or não se preocupe. Don't worry. Não se preocupe. Following the verb desculpa, you can also answer está desculpado. You're forgiven. Está desculpado. Now it's time for Paloma's point. Brazilians tend to exaggerate. You might hear mil desculpas or I'm sorry 1,000 times, or even bigger numbers as milhão, a million, to express they are really, really sorry. Speaking of numbers, are you able to count in Portuguese? In the next lesson, we will learn the numbers in Portuguese from 1 to 10. I'll be waiting for you in our next Português em 3 minutos lesson. Até a próxima! Oi, meu nome é Paloma. Hi everybody, I'm Paloma. Welcome to PortuguesePod101.com's Português em 3 minutos, the fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Portuguese. In the last lesson, we learned some words used when apologizing in Portuguese, including com licença and desculpa. In this lesson, we are going to learn numbers in Portuguese. Yes, numbers, os números, from 1 to 10. And you are going to learn them in only 3 minutes. 3 minutos. Are you ready? Let's start! 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10. Okay, now repeat after me. I'll say the numbers and give you time to repeat each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great job! What is before Do you know? It's the same as in English, but with a different pronunciation. Zero. Zero. You don't have any more excuses. You can give your friends your cell phone number in Portuguese. Let's try together. We use the phrase o meu número é, which means my number is. O meu número é. O meu número é 978657770. Can you read it by yourself? 978657770. Perfect! Now it's time for Paloma's point. When you say your telephone number in Brazil, we sometimes use the word meia instead of the number 6. It means half and is an abbreviation of half a dozen, meia dúzia. Do you know the Portuguese word for 100? In the next lesson, we are going to learn the numbers from 11 to 100 in Portuguese. Your task now is to practice the numbers we studied in this lesson, from 1 to 10. Até a próxima!
Learning to carry a conversation is vital to mastery of any language. Even beginners can quickly learn conversational language well enough to carry on real conversations with native speakers. Of course, beginners won't be able to carry a conversation the same way they could in their native language. But just knowing a few tips, like which questions to ask to keep a conversation going, are all you need to speak and interact with real native speakers. Before we get to specific suggestions, let's first take a closer look at how having real conversations in your target language is so vital to your mastery of the language. Communicating with other people is the very point of language, and conversation comes easily in our native tongue. For beginners, or anyone learning a new language, conversations aren't easy at all, and even simple greetings can be intimidating and awkward. Nothing kills a conversation faster than long periods of awkward silence, so you need practice and specific strategies to avoid them. When you know what to say to keep a conversation going, communication becomes much easier, and you make a better impression on your listener. Nothing will help you learn to speak a language faster and truly master the language than having real conversations with native speakers. Conversations quickly expose you to slang, cultural expressions, and vocabulary that force you to absorb and assimilate information faster than any educational setting. And that's a great thing. But how can you possibly have real conversations with real people if you're just starting out? Here are 3 proven methods that even beginners can quickly use to learn conversational language to make a great impression and avoid awkward silences. First, ask questions to keep a conversation going. For beginners and even more advanced speakers, the key is to ask questions to keep a conversation going. Of course, they can't be just random questions, or else you may confuse the listener. But by memorizing a few key questions and the appropriate time to use them, you can easily carry a conversation with minimal vocabulary or experience. And remember, the more conversations you have, the quicker you will learn and master the language. Second, learn core vocabulary terms as quickly as possible. You don't need to memorize thousands of words to learn conversational language. In fact, with just a couple hundred words, you could have a very basic conversation. And by learning maybe 1,000 to 2,000 words, you could carry a conversation with a native speaker about current events, order in restaurants, and even get directions. To help you get started with this, check out our 2,000 common words, also known as our core list. These 2,000 words are all you need to learn to speak fluently and carry a conversation with a native speaker. Third, study video or audio lessons that you can play and replay again and again. If you want to know how to carry on a conversation, then you need exposure to native speakers, and the more, the better. Studying video or audio lessons is ideal because they provide contextualized learning in your native language, and you can play them again and again until you achieve mastery. Our instructors have created more than 2,500 video and audio lessons that you can play over and over. And the best part is, they don't just teach you vocabulary and grammar. They are designed to help you learn to speak and teach you practical everyday topics like shopping, ordering, and more. Although it may seem intimidating for a beginner, the truth is that it's very easy to learn conversational language. Just learn a few core vocabulary terms and which questions to ask to keep a conversation going. Our language learning program has the world's largest online collection of video and audio lessons by real instructors, plus tons of advanced tools to help you learn to speak and carry on a conversation quickly. Just a little practice and exposure to real conversations or lessons is all it really takes. So, if you're ready to finally learn a new language the fast, fun, and easy way, sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Signing up takes less than 30 seconds, and you'll start speaking from your very first lesson. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Oi, meu nome é Paloma. Hi everybody, I'm Paloma. Welcome to PortuguesePod101.com's Português em 3 minutos, the fastest, easiest, and most fun way to learn Portuguese. In the last lesson, we learned the numbers from 1 to 10. Have you forgotten? Here I'll tell you again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now let's continue from 11. 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, 14, 15, 15, 16, 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, and finally we have 20, 20. Okay, now repeat after me. I'll say the numbers and give you time to repeat each one. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. These numbers may seem harder to remember, but you really just have to memorize 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 20. For 16, 17, 18, and 19, the numbers always start with 10 or 10. Let's not stop at 20. Counting from 11 to 100 is super easy. Now I'll give you the tens. 30, 30, 40, 40, 50, 50, 60, 60, 70, 70, 80, 80, 90, 90, 100, 100. While you have to memorize a few of these numbers, there are a couple of tricks that will make memorizing them incredibly easy. From 30 to 90, all the numbers start with the same letters of the simple numbers. For example, 30 is 30, and it comes from the number 3 or 3. Also, 60 means 60, and it comes from the number 6, 6. The last thing to learn today is how to form compound numbers above 20. This is also super easy. Take the tens and simply add e, which means and finally the number you learned in the previous lesson. Let's try it out. How would you say 56 in Portuguese? Let's take it step by step. 50 is 50, and then add and 6. It says 56. It's done. Isn't that easy? Let's make another number. For instance, 98. Take 90, 90, and add e 8, and 8, 98. After only 2 lessons, you are now able to count to 100 in Portuguese. In the next lesson, we are going to put your number knowledge to use. Do you have all the skills you need to go shopping in Brazil? If not, I'll be waiting for you in our next Português em 3 Minutos lesson. Até a próxima! Oi, meu nome é Paloma. Hi everybody, I'm Paloma. Welcome to PortuguesePod101.com's Português em 3 Minutos, the fastest, easiest, and most fun way to learn Portuguese. In the last lesson, we learned how to count in Portuguese. I hope you spent some time practicing the numbers because they will come in handy today. We are going to learn how to go shopping in Brazil. Before we go, you need to know how to say how much is it. Quanto custa? Quanto custa? Are you ready to go shopping in Brazil? Let's go! You see something you like and want to ask the shop clerk how much it costs. The first thing to say to a shop clerk is, com licença. Do you remember what that means? Excuse me. And then, while you point at something you want to buy, you can say, com licença, quanto custa? Com licença, quanto custa? If you want to be more specific when asking how much it is and refer to a certain type of object, we need to know if the object is feminine or masculine. If it's a masculine, add esse or essa for a feminine object, and then say the noun. For example, dress is masculine. Vestido. Com licença, quanto custa esse vestido? Excuse me, how much is this dress? Com licença, quanto custa esse vestido? And t-shirt is a feminine noun, camiseta. Com licença, quanto custa essa camiseta? Excuse me, how much is this t-shirt? Com licença, quanto custa essa camiseta? At this point, the shop clerk can answer by simply saying the number plus reais. For example, 37 reais. What number is 37? I'm not telling you. Okay, it's 37. It costs 37 reals. Now it's time for Paloma's point. In Brazil, it's very common to haggle when you are buying in small businesses. An easy way to ask for discounts is to say, tem desconto? Is there any discount? Tem desconto? At this point, can you count reals in Portuguese? We are going to learn how to do this and much more in the next lesson. I'll be waiting for you in our next Português em 3 Minutos lesson. Até a próxima!
If you're tired of knowing and speaking the language at a basic level and want to express yourself fluently just like native speakers, then you'll need to learn grammar. The problem? It can be tricky to learn. But don't worry, in this guide you'll discover how to learn and master grammar with the Grammar Bank. 1. Where to get all of the grammar explanations you'll ever need. 2. The best way to learn grammar that's right for your level. And 3. How to expose yourself to real examples until the rules become natural to you with a study tool called the Grammar Bank inside of our learning program. But first, if you don't yet have access to our program, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description. First, what is the Grammar Bank? The Grammar Bank is like a grammar dictionary, except online. It's a database of the must-know grammar rules and explanations that makes it easy to look up specific rules and learn them. Look for it in the top menu of our site. 2. How do you learn grammar with it? The best way to learn grammar is not to just study rules, but to learn in context and hear the grammar used in real life. And that's exactly how you learn with our lessons. You learn a quick conversation and hear how the grammar rules are used within that conversation. 3. What if you come across grammar that you're not familiar with? Or what if you want to review a specific rule without going back to redo a lesson? That's where the Grammar Bank comes in. You can look up grammar rules and get the explanations, examples, and links to lessons where we cover these rules. You can also sort grammar by learning level. So if you're an absolute beginner and want to make sure you know all of the absolute beginner grammar rules, you can do just that with the Grammar Bank. You can also sort the rules by spelling, category, and lesson series. And if you want to get used to the grammar patterns so that you can use them in conversation and become fluent, the best way is to expose yourself to examples as much as possible. Grammar is hard at first, but gets easy once you get used to it with enough exposure. Be sure to access the related lessons inside the Grammar Bank and listen to the native conversations that use the rule as much as possible. So, if you want to become fluent and speak perfectly, you'll need grammar. Take advantage of the Grammar Bank inside of our learning program. But if you don't yet have access, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to sign up.
Welcome to PortuguesePod101.com's Português em 3 minutos, the fastest, easiest, and most fun way to learn Brazilian Portuguese. In the last lesson, we learned how to thank people by saying muito obrigado and how to reply with de nada. Today, we'll learn some common ways to say hello and goodbye in Brazil. Vocês estão prontos? Are you ready? Then let's start! The most common informal greeting is Oi. Oi. Oi means hello. We say it when we meet someone. You may also say Olá. That also means hello. Olá. Another common greeting that you hear a lot in Brazil and at PortuguesePod101.com is Tudo bem? Tudo bem? Tudo bem means is everything fine? We use it usually together with Oi or Olá to greet someone. Altogether, you can say Oi, tudo bem? Oi, tudo bem? Tudo bem is a question, but it can also be the answer. Just say tudo bem, which means everything is fine. At the end, you can add e você? And you? Tudo bem, e você? Tudo bem, e você? When it's time to leave, we have a couple of different ways to say goodbye. You may say tchau. Tchau means bye. Tchau. You can also say see you soon. Até mais. Até mais. You also have adeus, which means goodbye, but you usually use it when the person is leaving to somewhere far or you're not going to meet for some time. Adeus. You learned a lot of new phrases today. Let's review with a quiz. What do you say in these situations? Oi. Olá. Oi, tudo bem? Tudo bem. E você? Tchau. Até mais. Adeus. You now know lots of ways to greet people in Portuguese. Now it's time for Paloma's point. You often hear people saying tudo bom instead of tudo bem in Brazil. Bem means well and bom means good, but you usually use both in the same situations, although tudo bem is more grammatically correct. During the next lesson, we'll talk about the phrase Desculpa, você fala inglês? Do you know what it means? Learn about it and much more in the next Português em 3 minutos lesson. Tchau, tchau!
Want to master grammar so you can speak properly, express yourself better, and understand more? In this video, I'll show you how to master grammar with our lessons and learning program. Let's begin. Number 1. Listen to the lesson conversations and explanations. In every lesson, you learn a conversation. Then, our teachers break down every word and grammar rule. So you're actually learning grammar rules in the context of conversations, and you can easily see how they're used. Once you're done, review the conversation again and again to remember what you've learned. Number 2. Read the bonus explanations and tutorials. With the lesson notes, you get extra grammar explanations and examples that are not presented in the lesson. After you're done with the lesson, read the lesson notes for extra review. You can even save them as PDFs so that you can access them anytime. Number 3. Leave a comment on the lesson. Once you've learned a grammar point, be sure to use it. Leave a comment in the comments section. Write some example sentences for practice. Our teachers will review your comment and give you feedback. Number 4. Unlock even more grammar lessons. If you want to find all of the grammar lessons available, visit our lesson library. Under Category, choose Grammar. You'll get all of the pathways and lessons dedicated to helping you learn and master sentence patterns and grammar points. So, if you're ready to finally learn a new language the fast, fun, and easy way, sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Signing up takes less than 30 seconds, and you'll start speaking from your very first lesson. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share it with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Oi, meu nome é Paloma. Hi everybody, I'm Paloma. Welcome to PortuguesePod101.com's Português em 3 minutos, the fastest, easiest, and most fun way to learn Portuguese. In the last lesson, we learned the most common forms of greetings in Portuguese. Do you remember them? In this lesson, we are going to learn a very useful phrase. Do you speak English? If you find yourself in a situation where you need assistance in English, this phrase can be a lifesaver. And because you're asking it in Portuguese, you can be sure that everyone will understand what you're saying, even if their answer is no. Here's the informal way to say it. Você fala inglês? Você fala inglês? In Portuguese, verbs change depending on the pronoun that is used. Please notice the word você in the beginning of the sentence. This is the informal way to say you. The next word is the verb falar, which means to speak. Because it's referring to você, it is conjugated to você fala. And you probably recognize inglês to be English. Você fala inglês? To learn how to properly conjugate verbs in Portuguese, like falar, please look at our beginner series on PortuguesePod101.com. You can find very detailed grammar lessons and resources there. If you're talking with young people or someone the same age as you can add a small word to sound more natural. Moço, meaning boy, and moça, girl. It is common to address the people around you like this. Moço, moço. Moça, moça. Moço, você fala inglês? Moça, você fala inglês? Now we'll see how to talk with a person older than you. It is very easy. You just need to change você into o senhor or a senhora. That means sir and madam in English. Everything else stays the same. O senhor fala inglês? O senhor fala inglês? A senhora fala inglês? A senhora fala inglês? Adding com licença, excuse me, the sentence becomes more polite. Com licença, moço, você fala inglês? Com licença, moço, você fala inglês? Or, com licença, o senhor fala inglês? Com licença, o senhor fala inglês? The responses you receive could be one of these three. Sim, yes. Sim. Pouco, a little. Pouco. Não, eu não falo inglês. No, I don't speak English. Não, eu não falo inglês. Since this last one is a negative statement, we need to say não before the verb falar. It is conjugated in the first person, eu falo. So, I don't speak is eu não falo. Now it's time for Paloma's point. For those of you who are not only English speakers, you can obviously use this question with any other language you need. Some people in Brazil study other languages at school, so maybe you get lucky. Just substitute English with Italiano for Italian, Russo for Russian, Espanhol for Spanish, Alemão for German, or any other language. In this lesson, we mentioned the expression com licença. But did you know that this could also be used as an apology? In the next lesson, we'll learn this and other ways to apologize in Portuguese. It's never too late to show your good manners with Brazilian people. I'll see you in our next Português em 3 minutos lesson. Até mais!
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Portuguese ebook before it's gone.